So let's go down to what we need to discuss so that our viewers can get a feel of what we are talking about, entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. So to start, I really need to quickly find out from you, what is your assessment of the entrepreneurship development arena or landscape in Nigeria so far?
Entrepreneurship development in Nigeria is seriously suffering from government intervention. I used to say Nigeria are the most entrepreneurial people in the world, but there is no genuine and honest framework to support entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. So basically, a system where we don't have steady power, a system where we don't have, we are not sure of security. How can entrepreneurship be developed or thrive in this kind of environment? It's not an easy task, and I salute the people who are still striving to continue with entrepreneurship in Nigeria.
Interesting. So let's also, you have mentioned the challenges they have faced, and you also said that one of the key things that is missing is that there's no much government intervention. But we have seen some effort of the government via the Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, even the CBN in recent time have carried out entrepreneurship funding for some businesses. But what do you think is the real issue from the aspect of government intervention that you have mentioned?
It's the duty of government to protect businesses. The first challenge we have, what is the nature of our land regime, of our land system? There is so much incertitude around the land regime. For example, the government can move around, can wake up any day and demolish people's properties. So how do you establish business? You don't establish business in the atmosphere, you don't establish business in the air. The first basic element of entrepreneurship, of setting up a business, is the land. If your land regime is so clouded with incertitude, somebody can wake up to see bulldozer demolishing his houses. That is a very big problem. So which kind of investor will come to a place where his investments are not secured? Or who will want to invest in a system, in a country, in a society where the government wake up any day and can just come and demolish a property? Now, we also have the issue of power. How do you run an industry when you don't have electricity? We have had a lot of companies, multinationals, leaving Nigeria, flying away from Nigeria. And one of the reasons they gave is that they could no longer afford the cost of electricity. So these are some of the issues we are talking about, where the government needs to intervene, because without power, we can't run industries. And if we cannot run industries, how do we develop entrepreneurship? How do we encourage entrepreneurs to come, to stay, and develop their business? So these are some of the very few capital issues that are affecting entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. And you cannot do away with that. You cannot just ignore those issues. These are just some few. We can still list on and on where you have contractual dispute, rather than going to court, end up in police station, where people use police to harass debtors. In such a situation, people will not be comfortable putting down their capital, putting down their resources to develop business in the country. So these are some of the issues where government needs to intervene. Because when you talk of electricity, when you talk of the land regime, when you talk of the security apparatus, you are talking of the executive. So it falls back to the government to do the needful.
Interesting, Barrister Femi. But let's take a look at enlightening and educating Nigerians on some of the way forward to some of the issues that you have raised. But first, how can we encourage our youth? Although you have mentioned the challenges that are there, but we cannot isolate the issue that we need to still encourage youth, particularly millions of Nigerian youth who are not tech savvy, to embrace entrepreneurship. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, the only way we can encourage the youth is to let them know, because we should not be sugarcoating issues. Is to let the youth know that we are in a very rugged system. So if you want to go on with entrepreneurship in Nigeria, you must be ready to face those challenges from security agencies, government officials acting irrationally, and all of that. So they must be ready. And we cannot say that because those challenges are there, we should not encourage our young people into going into entrepreneurship development. That is what we need to create jobs and reduce the poverty line. So, but it's unfortunate that you don't need to encourage people. The body language of the government alone is enough. When the youth are looking around and they see report coming out that kidnappers made more profit than even legitimate businesses, it sends the wrong signal. That's why I raised the issue of insecurity. Send the wrong signal to the people as to what kind of where should they invest. And it's as if we are in a system that is encouraging criminality, abuse of offices over legitimate businesses. So that is why we say that the government, the intervention of the government is very important. We had people saying, you don't need government, I can do my business. You cannot do your business.
Oh, okay, we have a network freeze there with Barrister.
When the legal for the government.
Okay, it's back.
The business cannot stop when the business cannot thrive when the appropriate policies are not in place.
Right.
So these are some of everything should brought back to government action. We cannot dismiss if we have a government that is interested in developing entrepreneurship in the country. They have to do all the best. Startup is not about during the Buhari regime we were saying entrepreneurship is of doing business. To be honest, I used to call it ease of registration of business. Ease of registration of business is not equal to ease of doing business. The bureaucratic bottleneck must be reduced. So many agencies, so many paperwork over just one aspect of a business. These are some of the things we need to cut down to encourage people, especially the youth, into venturing into entrepreneurship in this part of the world.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Femi. But before I let you go, Barrister Femi, on the aspect of private individuals, non-profit organizations, we have seen a lot of them carrying out entrepreneurship development skills, training, and the rest of them, empowerment. What do you have to say about their intervention for entrepreneurship development in Nigeria?
In fact, we salute the private sector because they have been rugged, they have been consistent. The private sector has been the one involved in job creation. The private sector, the blood burden has been now be shifted on the private sector. And the government woke up again and said, you have to increase minimum wage. Fine, we have to increase minimum wage. But what has the government done to make that minimum wage to be valuable? What has the government done to add value to that minimum wage in the pocket of the laborer? That is the point. So the private sector is struggling. Let's be honest. The private sector is struggling and I salute them. They have been doing all their best. If not for the private sector, I don't think the government has made any serious plan to make businesses to thrive in this part of the world. So we cannot dismiss the effort of the private sector. They have done so much to make sure that entrepreneurship development thrive in the country.
Very interesting from you, Barrister Femi. But finally, before I let you go so that you can attend to other emergency with you over there, the key aspect of entrepreneurship is to create employment, create job, and improve the livelihood of people across Nigeria. But in your own case, what advice will you give to the federal government of Nigeria, the subnational government, the state government, and local government on entrepreneurship development right now?
That is one of our challenge. We tend to see everything from the angle of the federal government, whereas the local government, let's even leave the state, even the local government has a lot to do. A lot of responsibility is placed on the shoulder of the local government to make sure that they promote and they create facilities to encourage business owners in their localities. Now, there are some very vital tools, maybe that may cost millions of naira or thousands of dollars. The local government can bring those tools and make it available to local producers, local entrepreneurs. These are some of the things. That is the challenge. The resources of the country is not directed towards business promotion, entrepreneurship development. It's more of a budget that is shared within the ruling class, which is not supposed to be so. So the local government has a lot of work. In fact, that is even the basic, supporting small and micro enterprises. That is even one of the very important roles of the local government, which we are veered away from. And rather than, if now you get to the state level, rather than encouraging the entrepreneurs at the state level, we also have another set of discouragement. Look at some few days ago, the police went to shoot traders in Onitsha market. How are you now encouraging people to carry out business, to develop? How are you encouraging entrepreneurship development in the country when even traders in the open market are not safe and they can be killed like common criminals? These are some of the issues we need to address if we are serious about development, if we are serious about development, yes, economic development in the country.
Interesting. Barrister Femi, I really want to appreciate you for coming on the show today. Having given your legal perspective to entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. I want to appreciate you so much. So thank you so much for coming on the show today, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.